with Roz out in Guam. I'm gonna plug these headphones in, Roz, and it'll cut me off for a split second, and then it'll kick in.
All right.
Testing. There we go. Testing. Awesome. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, let me hit record and let's do it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and have an awesome guest with us who is in Guam. We're here hours and hours and hours away. It's already the weekend where Roz is early in the morning, and just appreciate him for joining me here live with you guys here for this episode. Roz is a fitness coach, a trainer, and I saw his Instagram page a couple of weeks ago and saw the positivity and the light he was sharing with his audience, and reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to have a fun conversation with me here today. And so that's what we're going to do and share with you guys. So for those of you guys that are tuning in live, you can join us here if you want to on the Zoom if you have questions and that sort of thing. Without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Roz, Benzo, and if you can share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all that good stuff.
All right. So I'm Ross Benzo, Sun Touching Fitness. I'm a fitness coach, but more than that, it's about um, the mind and the body, and really building the resource, calibrating the tool and the success mechanism for an abundant life of joy and beauty and strength. So. I'm a sailor. I'm in the Navy. That's why I'm stationed in Guam. I'm a command fitness leader. So I do fitness in the military, and it's a skill. It's an experience that I've had that has led me to want to be able to take what it is that I've learned and share it with people, far and wide. Actually, one of the things that really stood out to me is, this thing with a lot of these black men my age. I'm 44, right? And it's like there's a lot of black men that they're just dying from lifestyle diseases, and they don't. It doesn't have to be that way. Black women too, and we just have to do better about having healthy habits, about having a mind for wellness, and not casually accepting the deterioration that comes with these lifestyle diseases.
You said so many things that are inspiring to me, Roz, and thank you for your service. I didn't know that you were in the military, and as soon as you said you were in Guam, I suspected that you might be in the military because I have some friends that have been out there from time to time. But you said a lot of things there that are very important, and I knew this reaching out to your page as far as just incorporating the whole the body, the mind, the spirit, because it all it's all one thing. It's all working together. And I like that you specifically mentioned, some of the health challenges and in the Black community, because I've seen this for years, and I've always been appreciative. Just for me, I grew up competitive athlete. I was a baseball player, and naturally I'm real thin, and just genetically, and so I asked my parents at 12 for a weight set to go in the garage, and I've been exercising, I just enjoy it. It's been a lifestyle for me for years now, and that's always, whenever someone can, be encouraging people to not just go exercise once or twice, but to incorporate exercise and into their lifestyle. And that's what you're talking about as a lifestyle. So important, and it's I mean, what else do we have? We don't have our health. It's just everything else is
Yeah.
kind of doesn't really mean as much. So.
Yeah. When we talk about health as wealth, and we talk about generational wealth, but we don't talk about generational health. And one of the things that is really consistent is that we will have these habits, these bad habits, lifestyle habits that we pass on from one generation to the next, and then we accept the deterioration of our body as a badge of honor as we're getting older. Like, people saying, oh, my knees are bad or my back is bad, and being okay with that. And it doesn't have to be like that. Like, so um, so in the military, I'm an older guy, right? But I got a lot of young guys that are coming in, and they talk about, oh, I have bad knees, I have bad back. These are guys like 22, 23, early 20s, and I'm saying to myself, the movie hasn't even started for you yet, and you coming out the bag with these problems. It's only going to get worse if you're not doing something about it, and if you're using these ailments as an excuse for not doing anything, you are arguing for your limitations. And that's part of that mentality that puts people in a bad space when they start accepting these dysfunctions as part of growing older. And it really doesn't have to be like that.
I love.
And I'm not like, oh,
No, go,
so,
go, go.
I'm not like, I am a newly fit person. I've been in the military for almost 12 years now, but I wasn't like this before I got in the military. I was out in Atlanta doing my thing, enjoying the nightlife as a spoken word artist, doing all the things that young black socialites and urbanites enjoy doing. Um, and I'm a skinny guy as well, so I was taking that for granted that I had the health and wealth. But then once I got into the military and had the opportunity to really engage in fitness as a lifestyle, it really just was like, man, okay, boom, let's do this. And then I started to see results. And when I got to my first command, my chief, he made me a command fitness leader. And that's when I had to take on the responsibility and learn how to train others. And so that's how I got into it. Then I went and got my certifications. And I was with the Marines for a little while. And so I've seen different sides of military fitness and the collateral value of it. These guys, man, the things that the body can do. There's guys like David Goggins, like, for example, running those ultra marathons, 75 miles. Like, I didn't know that the human body could be conditioned to do something like that consistently. Then there's the British comedian and politician Eddie Izzard, who ran 27 marathons in 27 days in honor of the 27 years that Nelson Mandela spent in jail.
Wow.
And yeah, wow, I didn't know that the human, and that's not a physical, that's not physical ability. That's all mental, And he was being interviewed about that, and he was saying, like, after the 10th marathon, he was saying that his body started to adapt faster and recover faster. And that reminded me of something that happens a lot in the training effect. If you push yourself to a new level consistently, then your body will adapt to it. But a lot of times what happens is people will start working towards a fitness goal or just any goal and then meet some resistance and then settle on that resistance and then stop. And then they stop right before their body turns over to that new level of being able to match that level of ability. And they miss out on seeing just how capable this human machine is, And
Absolutely.
so that had been like, wow, man.
Absolutely. You said multiple things there, right there. I want to just make sure I highlight for the audience because they're so important. And I never let people in front of me or online, offline, or whatever, argue for their limitations. I never do. Like even if someone says, like, I'm getting older, so my eyes are getting bad, I don't let them, like, I was like, you keep telling your eyes that they're getting bad, and the cells that are, what most people don't realize is our body is constantly renewing itself. Like, even though, aging, we do get older, but at the same time, your eyes, your skin, your organs, every part of you is, the cells are regenerating themselves. And the quickest way to deteriorate those cells in any part of your body is your lifestyle. Are you overly stressed, for whatever reason? Or is your diet bad? Are you not taking care of yourself? You're not getting your rest. If you want your cells to, speed up the aging process to where, your eyes go, your knees go, your back go, and especially you speaking this out into, like, people don't understand how powerful their mind is. If you share a story and you're speaking that into existence, something that you don't want to see, your body's like, okay, I guess we're getting old. I guess we're not going to be able to walk soon. And it's just not necessary. And then the second thing that you said, and this is what happens when we choose to say, because I have people share a news story. It's like, moment by moment, my eyes are improving. Moment by moment, my knees are improving. Moment by moment, because life is always moment by moment. And, what will happen is if we can just get off of well, how's it going to happen, Noel? When's it going to happen? How, all the details, which right now you may not even know how to improve some areas of your life, health, we're speaking of specifically here. Then all of a sudden, if you just get back to just being at peace in the moment, focusing your attention, your energy on the moment, whatever you're doing in life, like answers will show up to you. You'll meet someone that say, "Oh, I used to think I had bad knees too, but here's what I started doing." And then you're like, "Oh," and it just happens out of nowhere. Or you watch a YouTube video. Or there's just so many ways that the universe, God, can bring anything that we need into our path when we're ready to use it. And the body is so unlimited. I love what you just said there when you use the examples that you use. The 27 marathons example but I understand how it's possible because like I live in Miami, and when I first moved here, I just hadn't spent much time exercising on sand on the beach. It just wasn't a part of my routine, and I was like, it'd really be cool to be able to like start running on the sand because I know what that'll do for the body. And so when I first got here, it was like I'd walk 3 or 4 blocks on the sand, and I'd be like, "Damn, my ankles and calves are already. I'm feeling it already." Because I walk on the wet sand where it's a little bit more difficult to get traction. And then all of a sudden, like I was like, "Well, let me see if I can walk a mile and a half. Let me see if I can walk a couple miles." And then 6 months in, I was like, "Well, let me jog a little bit. Let me start jogging six blocks. A mile." Now 6 years later, I mean, the first thing that gets tired when I'm out there is not my legs, it's not my cardio. Typically, it's my abs from like all those steps, like the jogging. It's just like my stomach typically gets tired, which I'm pushing that further as well. Just seeing what the body can do, not asking too much of my body too quickly, but I'm challenging it for sure. And I always I've had a story, Roz, that, and I don't know what the truth is, but it feels like it's working. At the end of all my long, crazy runs out on the wet sand on the beach, I ended with a really powerful like sprint to where it's like, all right, body, like you're going to give me everything else that you got right now and we're going to just exhaust it out. And I always have the story that the next time I come out as a result of that, I'm going to be able to do more. And typically I can. Mm-hmm. So the body will do what we tell it.
Yeah. And that's the big secret. And what you were saying about the how is more than just spiritual imagining. A great example is, for example, you don't know how your stomach digests the food, how your stomach takes a cheeseburger or some Doritos or whatever you put into it, and breaks apart the nutrients from the preservatives and absorbs it into the body. You don't even focus on that. You just focus on the goal. You feel hungry, and then you put something in to deal with the hunger, and then boom, your body takes care of the rest. And our mind-body complex is designed to do that. So like you were saying, when we have these goals that we set for ourselves, whether they're intentional or incidental or casual, the how makes its way to us. And we just have to be open to receive it, And so, yeah, like you were saying about the running on the sand, people don't know how fast they can be until you give yourself an opportunity to feel yourself going. And then your body's like, yo, we can do this. Then we can do some more of this. We can actually go faster. And that's such an amazing feeling, right? Like I've had that, we do our fitness test twice a year. We do push-ups, sit-ups, and then a 1.5 mile run. And everybody very often is just trying to do the basic minimum. One year I was like, you know what? Let me see how fast I can run. And, I'm running, you're running, and you're running out of breath. You're feeling, well, I'm running, and I'm feeling winded. And I was thinking, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm actually okay. I mean, I'm uncomfortable, but there's nothing wrong with me. I can keep this up. And once I kept it up, then my body was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Well, let's turn this on. Let's start doing this. And I started my run, my rhythm changed, my pacing changed to adapt to what I was pushing myself to do. And I'd never had that experience before. And it's like, wow, bam, okay. Well, how else can I apply my intentions to having that experience in my life in terms of my personal relationships, my spiritual development, my professional ambitions? Where am I not putting forth the effort to see just how strong, just how capable, just how amazing I can be? And that's the the point of inspiration that I'd like to share, that I like to expose, and that's what my posts and so forth and my work is really about. Getting people to that level of experience.
I love that. And the example that you're setting, and it's a great reminder for everybody out there. Like, you want to benefit people, like, you can start with benefiting yourself and being the example for those that might be paying attention to you in your life, or family, friends. If you are, coaching out there, of course you would want to set the example, because people will look more at what you're doing than what you're saying. And Roz is a great example of, this is his part of his lifestyle, and now as a result, he can teach it. And teaching gives a whole nother, the person that learns most from the teaching normally is the teacher, because you're reminding yourself and you're going through the process as well. So this applies to every area of life, like you mentioned. You can apply just wanting to get the most out of yourself and your capability without needing to know all the hows and the details, because like Ross said, I mean, the answers will come, if you're just open to doing what you can do with what you have from where you are, and just trusting that you'll be able to know the next how when you get to the next phase of life and you need it. Right now you don't need all the hows, because you're on the step that you're on. I didn't need to know how to run 3 miles on the sand when I first got here. I was on the walking stage, because what interesting that happened, my running form wasn't as good as it turned into, because I needed better running form for the body to go further. Like, I noticed, like, running on that wet sand, because the traction, like, your whole core you have to be in line, because if you're all over the place, like, your body gets too tired because you're working harder than you need to. So I started noticing my running form getting more streamlined so that I could go further. So that was a how that I didn't even really, no one told me that. It was just the body. That's what the body needed to learn in order for it to keep going further. So the body's interesting. It'll keep evolving if you keep letting it.
Yeah. And that's what's so amazing. That is such an amazing experience. And yeah, man. And our concept, like you were saying, there's this story about this monk, right? He was trying to go to a monastery that was on the other side of the hill, right? So he starts walking to the monastery, and it starts raining, and he has a light post. It was nighttime while he was on the mountain. So he lit his lamp. It starts raining a little bit. He keeps going. It starts raining a lot, and he stops. And he's standing there. He doesn't know what to do, right? So then another monk coming from the other direction, he meets him, and he says, "Hey, do you know how to get to the monastery?" He says, "Yeah, it's on the other side of the mountain." He says, "Well, since you know how to get there, will you take me there?" He says, "No." He says, "But I can't see. I need your help." He says, "No, you don't need my help. You just need to take the next 2 steps. So if you take the next two steps will light up for you. So if you take the next 2 steps, the path will illuminate itself, and you will just keep going until you get where you're going." But so many of us, we get the rain and we get the nighttime, and then we decide to stop going forward. Our fear, our story that we tell ourselves about our inadequacy takes over, and we get apprehensive about doing what it takes to proceed. We become afraid, and that is like, man, that is such a horrible place to be in. Because then you see just how close it is, how close you were to where it was that you wanted to go, and you just stayed in the same place. We'll talk ourselves into being convenient about it, or instead of dealing with our issues, we'll self-medicate, and then take that on, and then we have that new habit to work against, and it just becomes a downward spiral. And there's so much life available to us.
Absolutely, absolutely, Roz. I just want people to be able to see like the first little result, first little evidence of them making progress. And a lot of times people quit before they even get to that, because you're not going to see it like the first. If you want to see something in the mirror, like whether you want to lose weight or gain muscle or whatever, you're not going to see it after the first workout. You're just not. Not the second workout, probably not even the third. But you will get to a point, whatever it takes for your body to start to change and evolve, and you'll start to feel better as well. But if people quit before they see or feel a result, I'm just so sad for them, because I know that once we see a change, or a lot of times somebody else will see a change in us, like, you've been doing some stuff for your arms. You've been doing some like anytime somebody compliments me on anything like visual, I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. And I've been that way my whole
Yeah,
life, and
yeah.
it just encourages me, more. But for me, ever since 12, 13 years old, once I started seeing my body change from skinny, I was 5'7". Now I'm 6 feet tall, but there was a time where I was like 6 feet tall, like 135 pounds. Just that
Wow.
wasn't
Yeah.
enough weight, and I was a teenager. But so once I started seeing any little change, I was like, oh, I like this. And then it was, from there it just become a lifestyle. And so I just want everybody to just give yourself enough time to feel a difference, to see a difference, and then once you feel and see it, if you want to stop, then do it. But I highly doubt that you'll want to stop after you see some changes or feel some
Right.
changes. You know,
Yeah, and one of the things about it is that seeing the change is something that starts in the mind. You have to see it here before it'll manifest itself outside. And a lot of people hear that concept, but they don't understand it. And one of the things that's really central to that is you have to be before you can have. So if you want to like one of the reasons why a lot of people, when they go on diets and stuff, when they lose their weight, they get to their target weight, then they start to put the weight back on, is because they don't want to be the person that it takes to be that at that goal. They want the result without the work, and so when they get the result, they stop doing the work. But it's just like $1 million. You would you would rather work to have $1 million as a result of what it is you should do, like a byproduct, a side effect of your effort, than to get lucky and get $1 million, end up with $1 million. Because there are no successful business owners that won their money in the lottery. All successful business owners became successful, and then the money came as a result. Just like with our health and wellness, you become a healthy minded person. You become a success oriented person, and then you become a successful person. Then you start to achieve things, and this the physical manifestation is just a byproduct of what's going on in the mind. And for so many of us, there's so many tapes playing in the back of our head, so many voices on autopilot telling us who we are, that we've accepted, that we haven't questioned, that stop us from making that switch. And that again, that is a culturally hereditary thing. We grow up with people telling us who we are, or who we should be, or what we're capable of, or what we're not capable of, or what the signals of success around us mean or don't mean for us. And then we take that on. One of the things that is really rampant in a lot of communities is this disdain for wealth. People have it's the poverty mentality of honor and poverty, and there is no honor in poverty. There is no dignity in the absence of abundance, in the habits of attrition. Being an alcoholic, or wasting your money on quick fixes is not what builds wealth. It's not what sustains things. Having broken furniture in your house is a reflection of having a broken mind in the head. Because how do you justify having these useless things surrounding you, and think that that's okay, and not do anything to change it, just accepting it? Uh, People will their favorite chair, right? It'll be it'll wear down, and it'll give out, and they'll just say, I'm comfortable with this chair. I've had this chair my whole life. Well, look at the chair. The chair is a piece of crap, and the lack of support in the chair is what's causing your bad back. The fact that you have had the same mattress for 20 years is why you don't get any sleep. But not understanding that, not being able to make that connection, is what often keeps people in the same place, because you buy some new stuff so that you can have better stuff, and then people say, "Oh, you're trying to be fancy." Uh, yeah, because I have visions for myself. I have standards. I have expectations for my personal abundance, however that expresses itself. Being able to connect with that vision is what a life of abundance and true wealth is about.
I love that. You said so many powerful things right there, Roz. And the title of this episode, 100%, is going to be "You Have to Be Before You Can Have." That that is the you said it quick and then you kept going, but I'm like, I'm going to make sure I highlight that because when Roz, like, if you guys haven't tried that on, like, you haven't grasped that, that's the foundational, point of life, like, for all of us. Like, we have to, it's our right now state of being. It's like, who are you being, like, in this moment and this moment and this moment? That's going to determine
Mm-hmm.
what life, reflects out, like what life is going to look like. And this, it's interesting because if we don't, like Roz just mentioned, if we don't have that vision for what it is that we want to see in our health or our relationships or our financial abundance or whatever it is that it matters to you out there, if we're just moving through life and just comfortable and looking at what is and be like, I guess that's how life has to be. That's a choice. Like, life doesn't have to. Life is evolving. Like, we live in a evolving and expanding universe, and we're just little pieces of that evolving, expanding universe. Every single one
Right,
of us are
right.
evolving, which we have to choose to evolve on purpose. Or the other choice is you get to evolve just because that's going to happen anyways through life experience, and it could be really painful and uncomfortable, like Roz's example of just evolving, staying in the chair. So you just evolve into a bad back because you're choosing not to have vision for wanting to see life expand in that area. And that might seem like a silly example, but it's so simple. This is how life works, for every area. So just
Yeah,
be able to pay attention to what's going on now, and then say, this is what I would like to see, and then be that version of that now, and then that's where life will evolve. I love it.
yeah. This guy was saying, he was saying that a lot of us think that um, our our life, our past recedes, our life recedes into the past, but actually, what happens is we move forward into the future with every decision that we're making. So with every decision, we're becoming a future self. And if you take that as a position of empowerment, then you can detach at any moment from who you were and step into a new self. But a lot of times, what people are often trying to do is recreate themselves as they've seen themselves in the past, in the present, and preserve that into the future. And so, what you see and what you often hear is a lot of people that have the same mentality that they had when they were in high school or when they were in college, and when they were younger, less mature adults. And that Muhammad Ali says, he says, if I believe the same things at 50 that I did at 25, then I wasted 25 years of my life.
Mm.
And that is so true because we should be constantly seeking that refinement, seeking that improvement. And that's what gives us that opportunity to explore our potential and really experience our personal magic. And again, so many of us are told from our community voices not to change, or we feel like if we stay the same, people like us. So if I change, then people aren't going to like me. So if you take that today, and then you take that tomorrow, and then this whole week, you're staying the same as you were at the beginning of this week. And then at the end of the month, you're the same as you were at the end of the month. At the end of the year, boom, and then 5 years from now, you're still the same, because you're thinking, they like me, so I should stay me, and I don't need to change. The reality is, the race is going. The clock is ticking. The whole thing is moving forward, and by us trying to hold on to this illusion of now, it causes us to rot where we stand as opposed to flourishing. You know, and it can be really dangerous. Like when you see like the 50-year-old dude in the club. Like, man, come on, son. That's you being silly right now. What are you doing here? And they're like, well, I got that. They dressing like they wanted to dress when they were in their 20s and not realizing that things have changed. And you can still like to go out and enjoy yourself, but just having the personal maturity, the personal growth to go out and have more experiences and new experiences and take on new life, new challenges. and learn to be better. It's really important.
I love it. You're saying so many inspiring things, Roz. I see anybody that gets a chance to work with you, and I already knew this. This is why I reached out to you. That I knew it was going to be. In fact, I didn't even tell you this. The way that I found you on Instagram, I was like, I bet you I could find some people. I wanted to talk to some more health and fitness people, and I was like, but not just health and fitness people. I want to see if I put in the hashtag spiritual fitness, I want to see if I could see who pops up from there. And then that's how you popped up. I was like, oh, okay, I like what he's sharing. Like, let me reach out. So I knew that when you were talking about health and wellness and fitness, it was just more than just the physical exercises. We haven't even talked about any physical exercises because it's so much more important as far as what we're talking about, like spiritually, mentally, and just allowing ourselves to evolve. So anybody that's working with you, I mean, I knew that they were getting the total pack, like more important than just the do this exercise. Like you're getting the entire version. And I've been looking at your logo. I love your Sun Toucher Fitness with the yin and the yang and then the sun around it. How did that come about, and what's that represent for you?
So there's a short story. Well, I'll tell you the story, and you can figure out how short or long it's going to be. There used to be a reggae band and a dub band in Atlanta called Sun Toucher, and also before that, J. Rue the Damager, the rapper from Brooklyn, he had this line in his song "Come Clean." He says, he says something along the lines of, "They melt in the touch of the sun toucher. They melt in the clutch of the sun toucher." And that term always stood out to me. But then when I started on this journey, what I started to realize is that I'm reaching for the light. I'm really reaching beyond myself to really get this connection to this source. And what I want to inspire in Sun Toucher is that reach for the sky, that reach for that infinite possibility. But then ultimately what that is, metaphysically, is a return to the true self, is a return to source, that abundant light that is within us. And when you turn on, when you get connected, when you get tapped in, turned on, you light up. And there's a difference. Like, you can see the difference between people that go to the gym with no purpose versus people that are really into what it is that they're doing. You can see this anywhere. People that really have a connection with what they do, they light up. They have this awareness about them that makes them magnetic. And when you're turned on, the universe, it just comes to you. Your personal gravity just enhances it, and so Sun Toucher Fitness is about that. It's about that experience. It's about turning on your light and getting that balance and going for the stars.
I'm gonna give you that clip because if you haven't explained that like that and like shared that, and like you make sure you have that clip because that was fire, like what you just said, and you're speaking directly to me. And when I discovered what you just described about life, and that's who all of us truly are, like what Rod just described is and we look at each other and we see these physical avatars, which we only have one in this life experience. So this is why it's so important to do what we've been describing throughout this episode. And at the same time, the energy that's flowing through all of us is, call it source, call it God, call it universe, call it all that is, call it infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. That's who all of us truly are. And like what Raj just describing, when we tap into that and become connected with it, which is a moment by moment thing, it's just a choice. Like, do you want to, be at peace? Do you want to be, you want to be loved? Do you want to be excited? Do you want to be filled with passion, joy? Just anything that feels good in the body, like you're connected in those moments. And then part of the human experience also, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but when you're frustrated or blaming somebody or, it's being rageful or angry or, depressed, that's just, in those moments, you're just, that lighting up that Rod's describing, that's not going to be seen in you. And we've all been there. Like that's just not, we didn't come here. That's not who we truly are. I just put it that way. And so you can know the difference when you can know the difference in the moment. And if it matters to you, then it becomes a practice where it's like, I really enjoy being this magnetic human being that Ross described because my interactions with human beings, there's 7.7 billion humans on the planet. And anywhere I go on Earth, I never feel like there's strangers. I just feel like that's why I just jump on these conversations. I never talked to Roz before. I never talked to any of the people that I talked to before. but we can flow in this energy because we're just different expressions of the energy that we're talking about. We're the same, like, but we're just different expressions, different life experience of it, which makes it fun to discover, what's Ra's experience. Oh, cool story. Like I never heard that before. Cool experience. Never heard that before. And that's the same with everybody out there. And, if you just choose to just control what you can control is, can you get tapped into that? Can you get in tune with that? Can you be who you truly are in this moment? Then you attract those around you that also are choosing that, and you can enjoy life anywhere on the planet. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a practice. This didn't happen overnight. It wasn't one day. It wasn't one book. And it, the, one of the things that really is really challenging is that so many of us don't get an opportunity to practice this stuff. We don't get exposed to the habits of dealing with our emotions, especially as men. We're often shamed for expressing our emotions or feel a sense of insufficiency for having these emotions, and so the way that we process or express our emotions becomes dysfunctional, and then the way that we medicate our dysfunction augments our problems, and then it creates this dialogue in ourself of being unworthy or lacking self-love and all these other things, and then those become the goals that we strive for. We look for validity in, people will say like, oh, I'm a jerk. No, you're not a jerk. You just don't know how to express your emotions in a way that allows you to connect honestly with people. And instead of confronting that and dealing with that, you've chosen to push other people away and suffer in your aloneness. And so it's like, wow, we got to sit down. Now we got to unpack all these stories that we've told ourselves. We look at, it's got, Napoleon Hill was talking about this. He was talking about how Dale Carnegie wasn't a smart man. He said Dale Carnegie didn't have a high IQ or an above average education. But he knew that in order for him to have the success that he wanted, he needed to build relationships. That level of success cannot be created by one mind. And it is that the development of the relationships between these various minds that brings forth these empires of abundance. But we get told that we got to do it ourselves, that we got to be self-made. And that is so far from the truth. We have all these men talking about they don't need anybody, they can do it themselves, this, that, and the other. Or the hat of our manhood is hung on the hook of self-reliance, when that's completely a myth. If it takes a village to raise a child, what happens to that raised child? They become part of the village. And so, we have to work to deconstruct some of these concepts of self in order to be better selves and have better relationships so that we can do better and live more abundantly.
You're speaking directly into my listening, Roz. Everything that I do, if anybody's been paying attention to what I've been doing for the last several years, it's all collaboration. It's all just having an appreciation for the life experiences of someone like Roz, because what I know to be true is if I'm open to it, the universe can bring me new awareness, new consciousness that will help me on my journey from anywhere, anyone, anytime, at any moment that I'm open to it. If we think we know it all and we're closed off and we want to do it all ourselves, then it's just a much more challenging journey. And the way that I see the world and see humanity right now is the only reason that everybody isn't abundantly thriving in any area of life. And when I say abundance, I mean having more than enough of everything that matters to us: time, money, relationships, health, like just whatever life experience that you want to have here, just no lack in any of it, just having an abundance of all of it. And so we can have that, and it's much easier if we help each other do it. Like if you want to be on this lone journey, which I've been here, which I thought I was doing things, solo entrepreneur and all this stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but for me, it's a lot more fun, fulfilling, and easier to combine forces with all these other human beings that want to participate and want to see the humanity that I want to see as well. Because for me, I think it's very simple. Like if we can be open to having our consciousness expand the entire time that we're here, none of us will ever know it all and don't need to in this one life experience. But if we're open, that'll be a forever thing. And then beyond that, the only other thing that would be necessary to have a fun, fulfilling, full life, and whatever that looks like for you, is to have an abundance of everything that matters for you. If you have consciousness and abundance at the same time, tell me, I don't see anything else that is required to live, a full life. And we can all have that. And it's much easier if we choose to help each other. And here's the cool thing. We can ask, God, source, universe, whatever you resonate with out there. I use all these words as synonyms. It's all an energy to me that I can feel that I know I'm a fractal. I know I'm just a little fraction of that energy. That's what I'm living out inside of this physical avatar that you guys call Noel. But what I know is that if I ask that power any question, and my questions, for the last several years has been, how can we all become more conscious of who we all truly are? How can we all be more abundant? And then the answers that I get are all in the form of the things that I'm now doing, taking inspired action towards, doing stuff like this podcast and with what I'm doing with Universal Abundance and all the stuff that I'm participating in. And now it's just magnetic to people like you, Roz, to where it didn't surprise me that you just said what you said, because this is why we're being attracted into each other's path for this conversation and affirming, other co-creations, that come in perfect timing, whatever those look like as well. So you're saying some awesome stuff in this conversation.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yep. Y'all would never guess what time it is where Roz is also, because he's like wide awake. You flowing some good energy in this, brother. I don't know what your sleep schedule is or your patterns are, but you seem like it's like noon where you are in the way I'm feeling.
So I've been doing, there's a youth initiative program going on in Deltona. My mom is doing this called the Catalyst Youth Leadership Initiative, and they've been doing the summer program, the summer camp that they do with the youth leaders. They've been doing it online because of the epidemic that's going on. So my mom, she reached out to me. She says, Ross, hey, would you mind doing the workouts for the young leaders? I said, no problem. I said, when is it? She says, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. So I said, okay. I was like, okay. This was like back in March or something like that. I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't even think about it. My mom, she calls me, she asks, whatever, I'm on it. Then in May, I was thinking, she said 9 o'clock. She wasn't talking about 9 o'clock my time. She was talking about 9 o'clock her time. So for the past 4 weeks, that's 11 o'clock p.m. for me. So I go to work, I come back, then at 11 p.m., we get down and we do these workouts. So then after that, I'm up and I'm wired, so I'm ready to go. And so when this opportunity came up, it was more like the universe had been calibrating me to be able to be where I need to be on time and with the energy that I need to have. Because when I got home, I was thinking, oh man, I should take a nap. I should set my alarm. I should set my alarm for 3 o'clock for like 2:30, so I could wake up and then freshen up and throw on a shirt. And I was like, you know what? There's something that I can do. So I'll be reading, writing a little bit, making some plans, doing some assessments. Some of the stuff that I didn't have time to do this week, I had the time to do while I was waiting for this opportunity. And so I've been really charged with the momentum to be in this place. And I'm grateful that you gave me the opportunity to come on and speak with you today.
I appreciate you taking the time. This has been an awesome conversation. One I would want to have with you anyway, and I'm always happy that these are recorded and can be shared, with people, iTunes and Spotify, and the people that you guys are watching live right now. You guys share this definitely. This could impact someone in so many different ways. So if you're watching this and it's inspired you even a little bit, like make sure you hit the share button. I love social media for that. How easy it is to impact other people. The last question I have for you, Roz, and then please promote anything that you want to the audience as well, as far as what you want them to know that you have going on or how they can participate with you in anything. But I'm always curious. I should kind of have a two-part question, but it'll flow out. You're going to flow out whatever it is that wants to flow out. But anytime I talk to someone, knowing that if I ask you this question 6 months or a year later, you're going to have a 6 months or a year more of life experience. So this will evolve. But as far as like vision that you have for yourself, in your life, and if you've thought of vision for humanity on whatever place, I just know how, because we're always evolving. So if I ask you this a year from now, it's going to be what you're sharing now and some, because you're going to have more life experience. So as of now, what's your vision for everything personally and collectively?
So this is really what I want to do. Really, what I want to do is I want to take what it is that I'm doing and go from city to city, and do revivals, basically. So it'd be like a fitness wellness workshop thing that goes for like a week, and we just go from city to city, and just show people how to work out. You know, show people what type of things that they can do to improve their fitness. Because you don't need a gym. You can have a gym. Gyms are great. I'm not nothing against gyms, but if you're making a commitment to your wellness, there's a different place that you can start in. A lot of people are often intimidated by going to the gym. Why don't you just start off with a walk? Or why don't you just start off with, doing some push-ups in between commercials? You know, there's all these types of habits that we can build into our day to recalibrate our relationship with wellness. And so I'd like to do something like that. That's really what I'm pouring my efforts towards. Especially once I get back to the states, really, I'll be able to do this a little bit better. But for now, what I'm doing is online coaching. The listeners, they can hit me up at suntoucher_fitness on Instagram, or they can follow me on Facebook at Ross Benzo. I'm doing these Sunday. I do a live Facebook workout every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then all this started once the whole stay-at-home thing started, because I realized that people were going to be away. They wouldn't be limited in terms of what they had to do. So what I wanted to do was create these workout opportunities where they could just use household items and get a good workout. So we started with the water gallon challenge, where it's like a 30-minute workout with water gallons. Then there's a body weight one. Then there's one doing using nothing but a towel. And so, I really want to encourage people to take some time, to make some time, to be committed to investing in their wellness. So my big picture, that's the big picture, to do that, and that's like the the big mind body complex recalibration effort that I'd like to bring to my communities, and really see some resurgence of wellness. My wife was telling me, she said that people didn't start having these health problems until they started eating non-foods, like these hydrogenated corn oil and soybean oil and all that other stuff. There are these micro elements of how we do what we do that are combined with inactivity that are slowly destroying us. And we really got to get more active in being better about honoring this instrument that we have called the body.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that, and yeah, I love that you hit on, because it's so important. A lot of people are intimidated because they think they need all this specialized equipment in order to exercise. I made do when because I had 3 months out of the gym when we had the quarantine here in Florida, and I made do with whatever I had around. And what I realized is, like, I always have a spare 5 gallon water jug around, and I was like, okay,
Mm,
this is the heaviest item that I have in my house that I could pick up. I was like, I'm gonna get another one. So I have two. And I started doing something that I'd never done before, even in the gym. I started doing single leg squats and single leg deadlifts, holding those jugs. And it
yeah,
stabilized like so many different muscles in from my toes all the way up. And so when I got back in the gym, I mean, my body came back so quick on some of the heavier exercises that I do, because I developed all these new muscles. And I was shocked by how sore I was in my glutes and everything after doing these water jug workouts. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, anytime you add some different stuff and be creative, like, the body will respond. So I'm happy you brought that up.
and that's great. And that's like that. I've been having a similar experience without the gym. I'm like, yo, what am I going to do? Am I going to use this as an excuse to to go back, or is this the opportunity for me to really learn something new, for me to grow and try some new stuff, to learn some new stuff? I had to learn a whole lot of stuff to be able to figure out, how do I get a good full body workout using nothing but water gallons. Man, if I think I'm smart, then I got to be smart enough to figure this out. I took some time and I figured it out. Like you're saying, like the way, what it does to the body is one thing, but also what it does to the mind is like you telling yourself, that this is important. So your body is like, yo, this is important. Man, I'm so glad this dude is taking care of me. Let's engage this opportunity and be better. So many people, this stuff started happening. They thought it was going to be a vacation. They could just stay at home and drink all day or smoke all day or whatever, or catch up on their favorite shows. But once this is over, it's going to be back at 100 miles an hour day one. And if you can't keep up, you're going to get left behind. And we're starting to see that already with people and their the the thing that has happened to their mind as a result of not taking the opportunity to at least stay at a homeostatic level. A lot of people have created new psychoses for themselves, being unwilling to deal with, your home with your spouse or your children. And these are people you normally don't hang out with, and now you're realizing that they're not who you thought you were, and they're not who you thought they were. Now this is a great opportunity to get to know these people. And instead of doing that, we turn ourselves off. We turn ourselves into our phones. We turn ourselves into the bottles and more escapism. But the one of the great benefits of being here, being able to do this in the house nuclear effort work, is reinforcing the strength of the nuclear effort. And so, man, yeah, let's get it. Let's do this.
I love it.
That's really what time it is.
I love it. You guys definitely connect with Roz on Instagram. You guys will see his links here, and you guys see his on wherever you guys are watching this. You guys see his name there, and definitely share this episode and leave a review on iTunes. Say that Roz guy, like, he inspired me in any whatever way he did, and I'll make sure I screenshot it and tag him in it, and I know he'll appreciate that. And just the little acts like that, not only of showing appreciation, will feel good to you, but there'll be somebody else on the planet that, because of you sharing or because of you reviewing, and they'll be able to experience what you just experienced. And I mean, that's just, you don't have to be the one that right now is like inspired to go coach people or go, train people or whatever, but just you receiving the inspiration and then being the example, living it, is going to help people. And then if you choose to share it, then you can help even more people. So appreciate all you guys out there. Appreciate you, Roz, for taking the time to have this conversation with me, and definitely affirming that there'll be more co-creations. I already have some things in mind that I'll share with you that I'm like, this could be beneficial for lots of people as a result. So
great. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Listen, I'm always open. Slide into my DMs. Let me know, because this is something like we've never faced, and we have to be better or different than we've ever been, and be willing to be different than we've ever been. And so, if it's going to take a collaborative effort, that's the work that I'm here for. So definitely, to all your fans, all your listeners, please, if you need something, you got a question about something, hit me up. We can make it happen.
Absolutely. I appreciate you saying that. I always tell people I'm the easiest person on the planet to collaborate with, because Roz mentioned this. We mentioned this earlier in this episode, because when it's valuable to us to help each other and work together, and we want to see humanity evolve, when that actually matters to you, then you just don't take it as coincidence when someone reaches out and says, let's do something that can inspire some people. You know that that's the synchronicity that is being brought to you, in this moment of time. And that's why, I always affirm that I'm the easiest person to co-create with and to collaborate with, because I don't take it as coincidence. I take it as, this is what's meant to happen in this moment. And then I'll let the universe bring whatever's next, from there. And like the analogy that Roz said, I'm just taking the step that I'm on. I'm not worried about all the steps that are going to come in September and October. Like, I'm in the July steps, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys out there, whenever you're listening to this, whether it's now or 50 years from now, just sending you guys so much love, and excited for how life is evolving for all of us. And we'll talk to you guys soon on another episode. Have a beautiful day whenever you're hearing this. Awesome. I'm gonna stop the stream, and I'll say bye to you, Roz. Let you get some sleep, even though you still wide awake.